Hey guys, Rising Random here, rising up the range as always. Welcome back to another video, and today we have a light goal and a few things. So first, again, light goal is a single like for this series to continue, and please tell friends, family, people you know, acquaintances, people you follow on Instagram about this channel, and just help this channel grow in general, and press that like button along with the bell notification in the bell thing, and press all so you can always know when I'm uploading. It would be weekly, but it could be any time of the week. I don't have a specific, like Monday I'm always post, nothing like that. It's just around a week I'll post. But other than that, let's get right into this video. And again, I gotta explain a few things. Just like how Goku was a vampire, technically, after explaining, he's not a vampires isn't a species. Well, it is, but it isn't. Like, it's not an alien species. That's what I mean by that. Vampire is a species, though. It evolved alongside humans, and they also got this phenomenon with quirks, but their quirks is built in. So if you're a vampire, you automatically have a quirk to control blood. It's just, it's just simple like that. Kind of like that one hero. I can't even remember his name, but I think his name was like Vlad or something like that. But while some people can't control blood, but they're not vampires, all vampires must control blood. Now, how Deku became a vampire is one day he was walking home from school. It was like the time that he could walk home by himself. It was just after. So I would say not kindergarten, he was quirkless all throughout then. But like maybe a little bit before middle school, so like 5th, 4th grade, somewhere around there. And he lived pretty close to the school, I believe. So he started walking home, and he was, of course, once he went by somewhere that was in a dark alley, he was pulled in and attacked, and basically, he was pretty much getting his blood stolen. They was drinking his blood, but Bakugo walked past and saw Deku, and screamed at the person to leave the nerd alone, since he was his. Seeing another person and not want to cause a commotion, the vampire dipped just like that. And they kind of feared the consequences because they know what was going to happen. Deku was going to become a vampire, and they was going to get blamed if vampire's existence ever came out. But Deku also did something else. He lost, not grew. He lost a toe joint. I cannot pronounce that together. But he ended up losing that, basically meaning he has a quirk. And he immediately recognizes this because he stops the blood from flowing out of his neck and puts it back in, unconsciously, of course. He didn't know he could do this. But after a while, it's just seeing blood and like stuff like that, like just having seen scraped knees and all that, bloody noses. He realizes he can control it. But he's like, how can I have a quirk? So he asks his mom to take him back to the doctor, think he has a quirk. His mom kind of just did it, even though she thought he didn't have a quirk. And when he went into the doctor, they said he spontaneously lost a toe joint, and he has a quirk. But other than that, everything's good, so we could skip forward to middle school. At this time, Deku kind of notices a lot more things. He has way more stamina than he used to. He's super strong, and he runs faster than a normal person. Not like a super speed quirk. He just runs slightly faster than normal people. And he's thinking, how could this all happen? And he thought, well, it all happened after I got, attacked. So what if vampire, it was a quirk that could be transferred like that, and they actually transferred their quirk. But after I'm saying like a lot, but after a good month of being in middle school and having these vampire powers, that vampires actually come to him. it's pretty late one night, and her mom asks him to take out the trash. So of course he does it. But a vampire then appears, the same one that bit him so many years ago. Said, "You need to come with me." And Deku's like, "What are you talking about?" And he drops down to a stance of fighting after, he throws away the trash. He says, and the vampire says, "Look, whatever your name is, you have a quirk, but the reason you have a quirk is, I can't really explain it here because I don't want no one else to hear it. So can you please come with me?" And hearing this, Deku's a little hesitant, of course, but he still goes with him. And since he still went with him, everything is explained to him that basically that vampires, werewolves, they exist. Those are the two species that vampires know of. It's possible, like leprechauns and all that could exist. But for a fact, vampires and werewolves exist. They were once related. Well, in vampires' case, they were once related to humans. In the werewolves' case, they weren't related to humans. They were related to actual wolves and just became more human-like. I'm gonna take an omnivorous diet. So, it just basically covers evolution. But other than that, they all had quirks though, but their quirks were slightly different than humans. Since humans could have a different type of quirks, their quirks fused with their natural power. So basically, werewolves can now become even more human-like. Before, they still have fur everywhere. It was like basically Bigfoot. That was the werewolves. But now they could straight up become human. That's their quirk. It's not turning into a werewolf is their quirk. It's turning into a human. And vampires' quirks are to pretty much manipulate blood in all forms. So Deku's kind of getting this rundown. Of course, his mother is worried for him after a while, so she starts looking for him. After he gets this full rundown, they pretty much say to him, "Hey, talk to us later whenever you can. You don't have to do it right now." And he says, "Well, of course." And then he dips out of there, and he finds his mother and just says, "Oh yeah, I found a friend, and we was talking. Sorry for worrying you." And Inko was like, "Oh, it's okay, Deku. Let's just go back in the house now." So they head back in the house. Now let's skip forward to when. Sorry for that, but to when the last day of school happens. The teacher says, "You guys really seriously have to think about what you want to do for the future now." And it says, of course you all want to be heroes. The class erupts and screaming and saying, yeah. But we actually have two students that applied for UA. Izuku Midoriya and Bakugo Katsuki. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense to those two to go to that same school one and go to UA." And since they kind of went there, it really didn't matter to Bakugo because he actually had a respect for Deku, and they're actually kind of friends. Bakugo, instead of calling him Deku, calls him Vlad. Basically, he calls him Vlad because, Dracula before he was the myth and all that and became a vampire. He was inspired from Vlad the Impaler. So he calls Deku Vlad. And it's he says, "Hey Vlad, it was kind of when we're going to the same school. It's unfortunate for you though, because I'm going to become the #1 hero." Deku is just, I'm going to keep calling him Deku, by the way. Only when Bakugo is talking am I going to call him Vlad. And Deku's like, I don't think you will, but you could try, I guess. Bakugo is like, whatever you say, Vlad. And he says, "Hey, I'm going to hang out with me and some people. You want to come too?" And Deku's like, "Nah, I'm going to just head straight home. I have to, use my quirk and make sure I have good control over it." Bakugo is like, You're such a worry, Warts, about your quirk, but whatever." Deku says, "If only you knew what my quirk truly was." So he starts heading home, and he actually doesn't go straight home. He, of course, runs into the whole sludge villain, but same thing happens, and everything about that. He does stick on to All Might, and he asks All Might, "Hey, All Might, can even with a really, really villainous quirk, could you still become a hero?" And All Might is like, "Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter about the quirk. It matters how you use the quirk. Look at me, for example." But Deku's like, "But your quirk is so hero-like. Says I could cause a lot of destruction with this quirk. I could run the world if I really wanted to with this quirk. But I don't, because I want to become a hero. So that's why you see my quirk as more hero-like." Deku is just kind of like, "Well, yeah, that makes sense, I guess." And then not Deku, All Might drops him off from the building, and they go their separate paths. And Deku goes actually home, and it says, "Hey, I'm gonna head out with a bunch of friends until like 9 o'clock. Is that okay?" And the mom and Inko is like, "Yeah, sure. Go out, have fun. It's about to be summer vacation anyway." So he, of course, goes out, and he actually does hang out. Well, he hangs out with friends. He goes over to a cave where all the vampires are. He's like, "Okay, I'm here. What do you want?" And it's like, "It took you long enough, a whole entire school year. We said when you was free." And Deku's like, "Yeah, but I was thinking about even coming here. Be happy I'm here." And he's a lot more confident, and he actually, even though this isn't how confident he is normally, he's trying to fake it so he can look more intimidating. He's just trying to look intimidating until he's like, "So what, be happy I'm here." And like, whatever, come in. And they showed him pretty much a captured werewolf, but like they're cool. Like, werewolves and vampires do hate each other, but this specific werewolf is kind of cool with vampires, so they show him, and this is my regular form. And they pretty much show him like sharp teeth and all that, and then say, "Well, this is my quirk," and he goes into his human form. And it's like, whoa! I would expect the quirk to go the other way around. He says, "So do humans." So when I need to protect myself, I say, "Hey, I'm going to use my quirk. Is that okay?" to whoever authority around. And whenever they say yes, I just stop using my quirk. It's not like I have to turn it on. And it's like, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. And it's like, by the way, werewolves and vampires already infiltrated this whole entire system of heroes. They actually are heroes. They want to protect humans. It's not like corruptness or anything. And he's like, "What?" And Deku's like, "That isn't very smart to tell me that." He says, "Oh, y'all never told him, huh? He never encountered another vampire or werewolf other than us." And I'm guessing he went nose blind the second he went in here. He says, "Yeah, that's the case." And Deku's like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Werewolves and vampires have really, really good noses. That smell you always smelling, that smells sweet, but you can never find where it's from. Those are humans. You're smelling humans around. And the smell that you're gonna eventually, since we're all here, you're pretty much nose blind right now. But when we're all here, when we're not all here, and you find a random werewolf or vampire, they're gonna smell absolutely horrible to you. It's just like so we can identify ourselves." So yeah, it's just that. And he's kind of stopped. Deck was like, "What was you finna say?" He said, and the werewolf was just like, "I was finna say it's just evolution, but technically we don't exactly know what caused it. So I wasn't gonna say that." So Deck was like, "Okay, whatever. Good talking to you guys. I'm gonna head home now." And he's like, "You don't want to stay, drink some blood. I was merely bitten, not born a vampire. I could still eat meat." And and there's like, "How do you know that we even drink blood?" "Well, how you know? I meant, how you know we can't even eat meat either?" Says, "I was guessing." It's like, "Well, we can. Anyway, see ya." And Deku, of course, like, "Okay, whatever," and leaves. But other than that, guys, I hope you really enjoy this series. And again, one like is to continue this.